A shocking admission from not just the Biden administration, from Joe Biden himself.
There is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level. I'm looking at Governor Sununu on the board here. He talks about that a lot.
There's no federal solution to the COVID-19 crisis, something we've been saying for years, saying this needs to be at the state level, at the city level, at the council level, anywhere. Small decisions need to be made for districts. If you're in North Dakota, it should be a lot different than if you are in New York City. But there are these massive federal mandates that are coming.
It was a Zoom call with governors across the country. There were both Republicans and Democrats on the call. And Joe Biden wasn't forced to make this statement. Joe Biden made this statement on his own,
voluntarily,
saying there is no federal solution to this.
Is this Joe Biden's truth seeking out? Coming out of what he wants to actually say, what he believes, which is very contradictory to what the current state of the more super progressive Democrat Party stands for.
I think it might have been a Freudian slip. I think it might have been what he used to believe at his core, but here's the problem with that, and this is going to be stating the obvious, but Logan, obviously his actions are dramatically different from those words. I mean, this mandate that's coming out of Osha that, I'm sure won't be withdrawn, even though if there's no federal solution, it would be. It's about as onerous and intrusive from the federal level as it could possibly be. So, Logan, I think you might be right. That might be what he once upon a time believed, but it is not what his administration has been implementing, and it's at the Supreme Court as we speak.
Our reply brief is due next Monday, so less than a week from today. The ACLJ will be filing a reply brief to the government on this very mandate, federal solution
to the COVID-19 crisis, something that we have been saying actively is not the way to handle this.
The President of the United States has undercut his own case by saying that there is no federal solution. And during the campaign, Logan, you will remember the president, current president, put it all on President Trump. Right. You have caused all these deaths. I'm going to cure it in the 9 months that I take office. It's going to be cured and everything's going to be taken care of. Well, guess what? It's not. And so it's not the federal government that has done anything.
This is what the Wall Street Journal's editorial board had to say about that. They said, if this is the way Mr. Biden is going, then he should notify the Supreme Court that he plans to have OSHA withdraw its overbroad vaccine mandate. That would be consistent with his message Monday on the lack of, quote, a federal solution, and it might also save Mr. Biden from a high court smackdown.
When you would start admitting that there is no federal solution, this gets solved at the state level. I mean, does he think no one's listening when, Andy, we are headed towards a Supreme Court case in a week, almost on this type of situation? And does this change the landscape of that case when you have the president saying these kind of things?
If I was the attorney for OSHA, if I was representing the government, I would say, oh my God, Mr. President, what have you said? The governor should be handling this. There is no federal solution. What have you done to my case in the Supreme Court of the United States, where the other side has asked that there be a stay put in place in this and has really been arguing that this is a state that this should be a state manufactured solution.
Joe Biden is not the Joe Biden that was the senator.
No.
The Joe Biden that was the senator was still a Democrat, still liberal in policies, but more moderate. Yeah. And he's been listening to the far left wing of his party since he was a candidate.
To stay in office.
Right.
To become the president.
And that's why he is now the president, is because of the far left wing. And he's still listening to the entire team of aides and people underneath him and cabinet members that are more left wing than he is. And he is letting them take the charge on things. But then he has moments of clarity when he's speaking with the governors and says things like there's no federal solution, which he probably philosophically agrees with, maybe to some degree, but he's still listening to all the people that he's put in these positions, which are much more far left, big government, centralized control than even he is, which is saying quite a lot.
Yeah. What a lot of us really want from our politicians right now is just for them to be honest and just to be truthful. And it is okay to say, we don't know. This is an uncertainty. There are problems that are happening around this world that are not solvable in a political stump speech. And that's okay. We have to be able to get to that point. Problem is, we're looking towards these leaders for a definitive 100% clarity and answers, and they give you one, and it ends up having to be something they have to backtrack a few months later. And that is a big problem that we're going to have in Washington, D.C., and have in politics over the next decades. And what I hope is that my generation, who are now in their 30s and 40s say, enough. We just want people who are at least honest with themselves. Because when you have President Biden going out there and saying things like there's no federal solution, but then a year ago or 2 years ago campaigning saying I will be the one who creates the federal solution. And currently there is a vaccine mandate or an employer mandate at the Supreme Court right now because of the federal solution that I put in. But now I'm saying there's not. This is where the problem lies.